What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. So we're going to start this one off with an update from Behrooz Tabani, and with an uncertain future overshadowing his entire Olympia prep, his entire last 2 years really, Behrooz is continuing to grind through the final weeks of his Olympia prep, and this uncertainty is still due to his ongoing inability to receive a visa to enter the United States to come and compete in the Olympia. Now, I've seen other reports about Behrooz actually receiving his visa at this point, and I can understand why. On the most recent post that Behrooz put on Instagram, it translates here, "I am so happy that I get my visa to make the hearts of our dear nation Iran and my friends happy. I will try with all my heart for the love of each of you. I hope I can make my country proud, Iran. I love you, pray for me." But unfortunately, it seems that there's a lot that got lost in translation here due to the auto-translate option on Instagram. As of today's date, around 3.5 weeks out of the 2023 Olympia, unfortunately, I have to clarify and report that Behrooz has not received his visa. And honestly, at this point, for the second year in a row, it looks like Behrooz is going to miss out on being on that Olympia stage because of really a bullshit political system that Behrooz is unfortunately subject to. The fact that a world-class athlete is unable to compete because of political red tape really speaks to part of what's wrong with this world. But despite the uncertainty and stress on the body and the mind, Behrooz actually does look like he's pretty close to contest shape here. And Behrooz is in the conversation for that 10th place spot in certain circles out there. I'm not sure if this being the second time this might happen to him makes it easier or harder for him mentally, honestly. I guess really at times, it would probably be both. But the fact of the matter is, if Behrooz is unable to travel within the next 2 weeks or so, he'll be flying really too close to the stage, and we know how that can affect the body in terms of acclimation and water retention. So it's my sincere hope that Behrooz can somehow make it to the Olympia. But if he doesn't end up making it there, he should definitely go on to compete at the Romania Muscle Fest, which he did do last year, so I'm assuming that he will this year. So again, I just wanted to throw this out there again for you guys, and if anyone out there can help, message Behrooz on Instagram or his coach Milos Sarshev, and we'll continue to hope for the best. Alright, so next up, I have a couple of Classic Physique updates for you guys, and these next couple I think are really going to make a statement at this year's Olympia and Classic. So the first one I want to talk about is Michal Daboul, and Michal has really made a statement during the 2023 competition season. He won the Pittsburgh Pro and then went on to win the New York Pro the following week. So this is a guy with a lot of momentum, and he showcases a level of detail that we really don't see from many competitors in Classic, especially from the back, and he's looking to improve on his 10th place finish from the 2022 Olympia. I do think he's improved his physique since the 2022 Olympia, and he does have good aesthetics, but I think he's going to have a hard time against some of the more genetically gifted competitors in Classic, because, I mean, there's just so many in Classic that have God-given structural gifts. But Michal does have fantastic presentation, and he definitely showcases great conditioning. So could he place higher than 10th place this year? You guys let me know in the comments below. Alright, so next up, I think this next competitor could be a bit of a dark horse in the Classic Physique division. We have an update here from Matt Greggo at 3.5 weeks out, and this is a guy who was on a serious grind this year. Matt did 4 shows this year alone. He took 6th place at the New York Pro, he took 2nd at the Chicago Pro, he went on to compete at the Atlanta Pro where he took 4th place, and he qualified for the Olympia by winning the Tampa Pro. And this is his first year in Classic. He was actually a men's physique competitor before this season. And Matt is one of these genetically gifted athletes that I was talking about. You know, for a young guy, he has a really good level of muscularity, great level of fullness, but he also has a lot of detail in his physique. Now, he does need to gain a bit more size overall, and he does need to bring up his back specifically. But you know, in the back shots, the lower body is actually pretty on point. After seeing what he brings to the stage this year, Matt has been regarded as the future of Classic Physique by some pretty influential names in the sport. He may still have a season or two before he really realizes that potential, but will we see Matt Greggo crack the top 10 in his Classic Olympia debut? Again, you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, so switching back to the Open, we have a physique update here from Hassan Mostafa around 4 weeks out. And you know, I talked about Tony O'Burton being a wild card in this Olympia lineup, but it's been said since Hassan Mostafa really just showed up on the competitive scene, if this guy can finally nail his conditioning, I mean, he'll be virtually unstoppable. And Hassan is looking to be in good condition from what we can see here. But don't let that fool you. This is what we typically see from Hassan at this far out from taking the stage. He always looks ready this far out. But on show day, it just doesn't seem to translate over. The conditioning factor has always been the Achilles heel for Hassan. The only time we really saw Hassan shredded was when he was working with AJ Sims at the 2022 Orlando Pro. And honestly, I still think he had room to improve in the conditioning department in some of the poses. Now, I can't help but think with Hassan though, although he is a mass monster, the wideness of his waist may hold him back even if he does come in shredded out of his mind. But until we really see that, I just can't say for sure. I believe Hassan is still working with Chad Nichols, and when it comes to the mass monsters, Chad does have the track record behind him. But can we really see Hassan put in that conversation for a top 10 spot in such a competitive Olympia lineup? I think based on his track record, reasonably speaking, we just can't at this point. But again, if he comes in shredded, I think you're going to see a lot of jaws drop to the floor in that Olympia audience. Alright, so last up, Samson Dauda has been consistently updating the fans on how his prep has been going, the same as we saw last year. I feel like it's almost part of the routine of his prep to do these updates now. And there's a massive difference between Samson's mental game this prep as opposed to his last contest prep, which was the 2023 Arnold Classic. For the old school followers of my channel, you might remember I highlighted this clip from Samson's Arnold Classic prep from about 3.5 weeks out. Check it out.
I'm going to that dark place, man. I'm starting to feel it. I ain't cool, man. I'm just pissed. I'm irritable. I'm pissed. I am definitely this close to losing my shit with everything that happens. And I just want to be left the fuck alone to do this. And yes, it's not good. Hold it together, man. Just hold it together because we're almost there.
Now compare that to the 2023 Olympia prep. Here's what Samson had to say.
Referring to that, this has been the best prep I've ever had. Especially for me, I gauge prep in results, how much improved we are from our last show, and how mentally I dealt with it. And so far, this has been the most successful prep I've had. I've been in a good place. Mentally, I'm dealing really well. Mentally this week, although it's been more physically tiring, mentally it's been a lot better.
So look, obviously, Samson is willing to suffer, and he is suffering right now. But it seems that Samson is avoiding that dark place this year, that dark place that you see bodybuilders go when they really reach those levels of extreme depletion. I think the difference this time around is that Samson was able to mentally prepare for that inevitability of extreme suffering, and he was able to handle it with a different perspective. But I also think that Samson coming off his 2022 season, finishing 6th at the Olympia, and winning the 2023 Arnold Classic, I mean, it's completely reasonable to think that Samson is riding his own momentum train, and that's got to be a real boost of motivation. In a very short period of time, Samson has skyrocketed in the bodybuilding world, and this year, I mean, the guy's in the conversation for being Mr. Olympia in a lot of circles out there. From some of the updates that we've been seeing lately, Samson does look to be improved, and we're going to find out very soon just how improved he really is, and how far that momentum can carry him. You guys, the Olympia is just around the corner. It'll be here before you know it. I'll have my predictions coming out soon. Stay tuned. I'll have all the updates for you guys right here. Anyway, that's it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning in to EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.